Hello everybody. Today we'll be going over Phoenix Journal number 27 again, and I'll be going over the third out of the 12 deadly sins. And this is one that really pertains to Americans nowadays, and something we need to work on. Gluttony. We will first define gluttony by defining what is gluttony, or a glutton. One who eats to excess. 2. One who has a great excessive appetite or capacity for something. The key to understanding what is gluttony is that it is the act of having excessive or excessiveness. Beyond reasonable need, appetite, or desire for anything of the physical state of being. It could be food, or one could be what is termed a glutton for punishment or by self or another. One could be a glutton for sex, for war, or for power over others, meaning he is a hoarding unto himself, by expanding his capacity of perceived physical pleasure because he feels unworthy, and therefore he fears there will not be enough of whatever is the object of his excessive appetite. Gluttony is a form of self-punishment, because any excessive intake, such as of food, sex, or power, often proves to be the very thing which leads to the destruction of the glutton. It is this excessive beyond reasonable need which is not assimilated within the being, but is actually stored, which then produces the effect, or effect. Remember the law of cause and effect, of actually devouring and destroying its host. It is the hoarding of energy beyond the ability to assimilate and integrate it within his being, integrate within the being, which the glutton has trapped, and which, as is the nature of all energy, will seek to free itself from its static state, in order to move and remain alive, even if it means the destruction of its host. Yes, this excessive trapped energy becomes much as a parasite upon the glutton. You see, students, the integrity of the energy deteriorates if it is accumulated, stored and kept stagnant or static for an inordinate period of time. Just as it is in the nature of stored food or energy, such as fuel, to deteriorate if it is not somehow preserved. And even though the life of the food or fuel energy is extended by your various preservation processes, the quality and integrity, because of the stagnation or dormancy, the state of the food or fuel, is usually lessened. If you know God your Father, God/Aton, your Father, will provide all that you ever need to sustain His service, why would you need to excessively hoard any energy within you, which is a part of the spirit of life? The correct answer, precious ones, is that you do not need to over-consume the needs of your spirit or being to sustain you. If the Father within is acknowledged and accepted as your true unlimited power, you must know within your very being that you will always have what you need to sustain in His service. Now let's please make this clear to you ones who may be now in the panic wondering if your body, which you perceive carries more weight upon it than you would desire, is the result of gluttony. First of all, many of you underestimate what is your ideal weight. The image constantly fed of your thin has caused many of you much unnecessary preoccupation with this desire for a thinner you. This is vanity, which we will discuss in depth later with your deadly sins. Each one of you is gifted with a different skeletal frame for your body. If you are small bone and petite in stature, then naturally you will need to carry less weight than one who is a large bone and petite in stature. When not tampered with, most of you were born with excellent natural functioning metabolic mechanisms for maintaining an ideal weight for you. Many of you simply eat much more than your body needs to sustain in healthy harmony. Gluttony then is an excessive appetite and desire for the hoarding of much more of anything, which is a form of energy, than what one can properly assimilate in his experience. You each must learn to recognize whether your transgression against self is because of vanity or gluttony, both or neither. For example, when one is a glutton for punishment, this means he hoards upon himself because of lack of self-honor and self-worth. Continuous, excessive, and consecutive experiences which cause him undue stress and unhappiness. He becomes a glutton of the excessive repeat of his own self-created experience of victimhood. Gluttony really becomes a mindless behavior in that the glutton experiences a state of transfixion upon whatever is the object of his gluttony. He is hiding from his pain of feeling unworthy, and by the mindless hoarding he becomes numb to his feelings. This, as you may now see, is much the same desire to hide from one's feelings of being inadequate, unlovable, or otherwise understanding of life of one who is addicted to drugs or alcohol. You now within your society have many young men and women who feel so unworthy that they will repeatedly mindlessly gorge themselves, and then in disgust with themselves they will vomit it all away. Ones have termed this addiction behavior bulimia. It has become the new disease of your young people, who strive to be and can never measure up to some physical or other image of false perfection that either they have been given or that they themselves have adopted. What is the difference between one who is bulimic and one who eats more than he or she needs and retains excessive weight upon the body? Both are eating to fill an emptiness within, often a feeling unloved by self or others. The bulimic, though, can hide his or her food addiction from the world by maintaining a slender physique, thereby experiencing both gluttony and vanity. The one who overeats and gains excessive stored weight is experiencing addiction to food for a variety of reasons, but most often the reason revolving around feeling the emptiness within, or to give a protective shield of excess weight against emotional attack by self or others. This one too can feel vain and get on the treadmill of overeating, and thereby trying various programs of dieting, formulas, diets, exercise, subliminal tapes, and other so-called miracle programs to lose the weight, until both food-addicted types are able to recognize and come to terms with why they use food to fulfill the need, and also learn what that need actually is. The one addicted will not be able to cure his or her addiction. Do you see, dear ones? These sins we are defining for you are really the symptoms of the Antichrist cancer within you, devouring, confining, and limiting your creative spirit of life. Your spirit is fighting an absolute agony of your self-created chains of creative limitation. You must now recognize these symptoms and ask the Father within you to give you His power, His wisdom, His love, and to help you cast off these chains of limitation upon your creative spiritual unfoldment. And I'd like to make one more point about this, about gluttony. It can also be such as your household objects and having things around you that remind you of home that you can't fulfill with physical things, but yet you surround yourself with a home, things around you that make you feel better and closer. But in all reality, that's not what you need. You need the Father within, and that is what will be your home. That's your comforter. And that's all for number 3.